Hey gang, welcome back to the channel. I'm Paul with Stud Pack, and in today's video, we're gonna be talking about shoe and quarter round. A lot of trim guys and trim gals avoid it like the plague. You will never see it on one of their job sites. And then there's others who use it for absolutely everything. Is there a middle ground where shoe and quarter round can be used appropriately in your home or in your remodel? We like to think there is, so let's take a deep dive into these controversial moldings. In a previous video, you saw Jordan and I and his little brother install all the flooring in this side of the house, and it came out fantastic. Thanks for all your support on that video. It got a tremendous amount of views, but it also got a tremendous amount of comments. Comments like, "What are you knuckleheads doing? Haven't you ever installed baseboard before? You know it goes on after you put the floor down.
What are you doing installing the skirt boards on top of the flooring, bunch of blokes?"
That too. And is this your first rodeo? Have you never remodeled a house before? What are you guys doing? So check it out, gang. If you watched that video, you know we waited a long time for this flooring. And in fact, at the end, we had to change the color because our original color got back ordered for a couple of more months. So while we were waiting for the flooring to come in, we decided we need to take advantage of this time and do whatever we can right now to get us ahead of the game and we stay on track with this project. One of the things we decided to do was to install the baseboard. And look how beautiful that came out. It's all caulked in here, all the nail holes are filled, 2 coats of finish color with sanding between each coat. It came out awesome. And we can install the baseboard first because we already knew we were gonna be installing quarter round right here to cover that expansion gap. And we can do that because we're in Southern Louisiana, gang. Shoe and quarter round are king here. You'd be hard pressed to find a single home without it. Where you are, it could be different. That's just how we do it down here. And the other reason is there is quarter round in this room to match the quarter round in that room to match the quarter round in that room. It's all homogeneous. If you're a contractor, you know what I'm talking about. That's why we put this switch height at the same as all the rest of the rooms. And that's why these 2 6-panel doors match the rest of the 6-panel doors. And why the door casing matches throughout the house. It all works together. Now, you've heard me use the terms quarter round and shoe kind of interchangeably, but are they different? You bet they are. Let's show the difference and talk about it. Let's show you the difference and talk about it. So here I have an example of shoe and quarter round. Shoe is typically 7/16 on this dimension, which is where your floor would be, and typically 11/16 on the wall side of it. Quarter round is typically 3/4 by 3/4. Now that 5/16 may not sound like much, but that could be the most important measurement on your whole project. It could make the difference in your project. At my house, they didn't know the difference. I got these things together. And what I mean together, I don't mean this in one room and this in the other. I mean together. I've got stained quarter round. We're gonna call this stained even though it's not really stained, against painted quarter round. I've got painted shoe with 8 nails right there against a piece of this stuff. It drives me crazy. So whatever you do in your house, make sure it's all the same. So you know what? While I have all 3 of these here, why don't we head down here to the floor, put them up against the baseboard and see how it looks. All right, gang, we're down here at the baseboard. We've got all these mocked up for you. And as you can see, they all look great. I would have any one of these in my house. And I used to be a shoe only guy. And if you're paying attention and you see this piece of shoe right here, you're like, hey, it's backwards. Well, it absolutely is. It goes this way. But you know what, gang? I've got 2 pieces in my house laid flat like that. I'm sure it's to cover a big gap in the floor. It drives me crazy. And one day I'll fix it. But the reason I switched from shoe only to quarter round is acceptable also is mainly because of this stuff right here. The pre-finished quarter round that you get with your flooring package. And like I said, I love the way that looks. I think it's a classic look with a stained quarter round against a painted baseboard. You can also get shoe in stained grade and match your shoe to match the floor. Now, why does this work for me? Because it's appropriate dimension-wise. The baseboard is so much taller than the quarter round that it works together. Where this doesn't work for me is when you have a 2-inch high clamshell baseboard and the quarter round actually has more wood in it than the baseboard does. And then finally on the end here, you see we have a piece of painted quarter round. And that looks great too, gang. It's all what you like. You can do whatever you want. You could paint this bright pink if you wanted to. You just can't have anybody over. Why don't we gather up our 3 samples and go back to one of the rooms in this house and show you a situation where I think we can all agree where this does not belong. All right, we're in one of the bedrooms over here in the corner. We've got this beautiful carpet down here. And you can see how the carpet is tucked under the baseboard. I have never seen shoe or quarter round installed like that over this type of carpet. And if you did, the installers would probably walk off the job because it would drive them crazy and they can't install it properly. So when the carpet installers tuck the carpet, between the baseboard and the tackless, it hides any imperfections in the slab or the subfloor, any variation, and that looks fantastic. But what if you don't have carpet? What if you have another type of flooring and there are imperfections in your slab or subfloor and you have a gap there? What are you gonna do? We actually have a third scenario in this house where that happened. Let's go take a look at it. All right, gang, you may recognize this. We are in the stud pack bathroom. We have a whole series on how we did this bathroom. It still looks fantastic, just like the day we finished it. But there's one thing that bugs me, and those are gaps. Gaps between the baseboard and the tile, as you can see right there. Now, full disclosure, we did not use self-leveling underlayment in this bathroom, and we did not use self-leveling clips. I think after this job, we started using those clips, and they are a game changer. And a lot of you asked, why didn't we use self-leveling underlayment in the rest of the house, in the kitchen, in the dining room, in the living room, in the halls? Well, there's a lot of reasons, gang. Number one, that stuff is crazy expensive. I don't even want to fathom a guess as to how many bags it would have taken. Probably 35 to 50. And in preparation to pour all that stuff, we would have had to deep clean the slab so the primer sticks, apply the primer, let it dry overnight, come back the next day, mix all that stuff, 1 by 1, 2 by 2 maybe, pour it, level it, screed it out, make sure it's perfect, wait for it to dry, and in the meantime, the owners are sleeping on the front porch for a couple of nights. How do you think that would have gone? Now, if you're in a small bathroom like this, that'd be perfect for self-leveling underlayment. A couple of bags, get you one of those rollers, screed it out, it'll be perfect. And it's gonna help to minimize gaps like this. Now, we didn't use it in here, and we also didn't use the self-leveling clips, which would have helped a lot. So since we didn't do that, what are we gonna do about that gap right there? Well, we have a few options. My first idea was to put quarter round or shoe in here. Since I have these samples, let's check it out. I mean, honestly, I don't like the way that looks. Still got a gap right there, and the same with the shoe. You still got a gap right there. Now, it's obvious that we installed this baseboard after we put the tile down. You can certainly put baseboard in before you put the tile down, but then just understand you're gonna have a grout line along here, but there won't be any gap. So what are my other two options? Well, I was at my brother's house in Florida, and the contractor actually caulked that right there. I noticed it immediately, and at first I didn't like it. But after a couple of days, it actually grew on me. And in the end, I realized that looks super clean in the bathroom, and that's probably what I'm gonna do in here. What's the third option? I can scribe the base to the tile. I've done that before. I'm never doing it again. And I know what you're thinking. You're saying, hey, Paul, what about all that homogeneous BS you were just telling us about? Now the bathroom's not gonna match the rest of the house. Well, just like the carpeted bedrooms don't match the rest of the house, the bathroom really doesn't have to either. It's what you like. And I think what we want in this bathroom, what we like, is we're gonna caulk it. Now, are we gonna caulk the living room floor to the baseboard? Absolutely not. We're gonna use quarter round. So let's head in there and show you how we're gonna do it. So if you guys are fortunate enough to have a perfectly flat slab or a perfectly flat subfloor, or you were able to pour down some underlayment, you can certainly put down your floor. It's gonna be nice and flat. Throw your baseboard on top to cover that expansion gap. You're gonna be good to go. It's gonna look fine. But as you know, in this house, our slab is not perfect. Just like we showed you in the bathroom, it is uneven, and it's uneven in the rest of the house too. So we went outside and grabbed a piece of baseboard I had left over. We threw it down on top of our floor, just like you recommended. Let's go down here and take a look at how it looks. It's okay right here. It's tight to the floor. But look what happens as we go to the left here. And even to the right, there's another gap. That's because we have a slight hump in the slab right here, and it's transferring through our floor. The baseboard is stiff. It's tall because this room is tall. And we've got all this lighting coming down, casting these shadows. You could get a smaller baseboard that might conform to the slab, but we're always talking about proportions on this channel. So we wanted a tall baseboard. I think that's 5.5. It looks great, and it's perfect for this room. So what will conform to that gap? We need something small, flexible, and easy to install. What are we gonna use? Introduce you to quarter round. This is what we're gonna put in. So we're gonna come down here with our quarter round, push it against our base, push it against our floor, put some 18 gauge nails in it, patch those nail holes, caulk this. Now this already has 2 coats of paint on it, so I just gotta come back with a paintbrush, cover up that caulk and the nail putty. We're good to go. It's gonna cover the gap, like I said. It's appropriate for this house, it's appropriate for this neighborhood, and it's appropriate for all of Southern Louisiana. Alrighty, gang, thanks for listening. That was a lot of talking for me. Thanks for hanging in there. We just wanted to show you that there's definitely a method to our madness, and we wanted to try to answer your comments and clear up some of the confusion about the intersection between our baseboard over this flooring and how we're going to handle it. If there's one phrase that's always true, it is that two of a trade will never agree. Whether it's two chefs, two attorneys, certainly two trim carpenters, and most definitely two electricians. Purpose of this video was to shed some light on the use of these products. We hope we did that for you. And remember, it's not always going to be black and white. Yes, you should use it. No, you shouldn't. In the end, it's what you like to see on your project and at your house. And speaking of what you like, we hope you like this video. Get down there, smash that like button for us. We'd really appreciate it. Leave us a comment, ask a question, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time.